Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. Morning, Jordan.
Good morning.
Morning. You feeling all right after a big weekend?
Big weekend.
Big weekend. I heard all about it. Did you?
Well,
Do you feel all right?
I was just saying to Jack, I'm just resilient. I'm just a machine.
Yeah. I talked to Francesca.
I get more energy knowing that like the 30 people that come to my birthday party are walking around going,
Thanks for the invite.
That was it. You wouldn't have
No, I
come.
wouldn't have come anyway.
Walking around going, that was the best party in the entire world. Then it not happening.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I know.
a weirdo like that.
I was talking to Francesca the next day about work, and she answered the phone, like, hello, like just sounding terrible. I said, oh, you sound terrible. She's like, oh, I hosted everyone at my place. I said, I thought you were just popping in to say hello and then going home so you could wake up. She goes, yeah, I just turned into a whole big thing.
That doesn't happen with me. People can't pop in.
No. And then she's like just feeling so worse for wear, had hardly any sleep, and then she had to take the kids to the beach, and I was just like going, I couldn't think of anything worse. The worst feeling in the world, I reckon it is. Morning, Jack.
Morning.
Talking about big weekends.
Fresh off the plane from Melbourne.
Let's have an update on your weekend. It's like drug-fueled, woman-fueled.
No, it wasn't drug-fueled,
Jackson.
woman-fueled.
I'll tell you, this is how I know it's drug-fueled with Jackson. He goes, on the first night, so he goes down to Melbourne to go out with his mate Fergo.
No,
what a name, Fergo.
Connor.
Oh, Connor, right. Connor. I don't know, they all sound the same. Connor. All right, and then Jackson rings me on the first morning after the first night. I miss home. I missed my dog. I did not. He did. And I said, Jackson, I could just picture it. He goes, I want to come home. Like, and I'm like,
this is what you're making up. No, because
Jackson,
I texted Dad.
No. You're the one that embellishes stories.
No.
I'm telling you exactly what happened.
I texted you.
And I said to Tara, he's had a big one. Yeah.
I texted Dad at 1 a.m. because I had an ex-girlfriend call me and all this kind of stuff, and then he's like,
Jackson, those words that I said is exactly what you said.
And then he calls me at 6 a.m. and texts me at 6 in the morning. He goes, "Call me, buzz me when you're up." And then so I was like,
Yeah.
I woke up at like 6:30, and I was like, all right, buzz Dad straight away.
I woke up at 6:30. He was still up.
coming home at
Yeah. He's still up. He's
I thought I'd get
walking
it out of the way
club.
before I went to sleep.
The funny thing is, like Jackson goes to Melbourne for 3 days with a mate, staying in a hotel, blah, 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 blah. As if Jackson's asleep, and as if Jackson's like, oh yeah, when I woke up, I rang Dad. And like, oh my good, yeah, I was just about to go for breakfast with my friend downstairs. They're like, it's like,
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
You lose a few kilos this weekend?
I think so. Yeah. Can't even look in the mirror.
No. Let's get straight into it. I've got a lot of questions here today, but I think we'll just cover a couple. But I want to be. I'll talk about myself for 1 second.
Yeah.
And I've got a meal plan. Like I get people asking about like eating and things like this, and I just want to run through what the meal plan is every day. But I actually
I'd like to hear this.
I actually broke it yesterday.
Yeah.
Last night. I'll tell you. So in Tara's side, I've got glasses, so I'm going to read it because you won't.
I won't be able to understand.
Yeah,
it,
those other things. So in Tara's bedside table, Daryl Lee has a World Reserve bank in there. All right, so you've never seen so much chocolate in your life, okay, in Tara's thing. So I woke up last night and I'm like, I was starving, like literally starving. And you know when you think about chocolate in the night, and I don't eat chocolate, I don't eat anything like that. For some reason, it was like 11:30. I feel like I'd been asleep for 3 hours or something, but I hadn't because I went to bed like at 10 o'clock last night or just after because I was like tired, and Tara's watching IVF. She watched maths and then she watches that IVF show. And I said, I just want to go to sleep. And she's like, oh, the show's not finished. And I'm like, all right, so I put my mask on and just trying to go to sleep. And then, so she's there, and sometimes she goes in the other room because it's just easy because I just jiggle around everywhere and whatever. So I woke up, she's in the other room, and then I just go into the drawer and I start eating Tim Tams, like one after the other, can't stop. And then I go to bed, and you know when you get something in your head, like then I started thinking about Nutri-Grain, and I was like, oh, I can't eat anymore. And then, but half an hour wrestling with picturing Nutri-Grain and eating it. Do you ever do that?
Well, not exactly with chocolate and Nutri-Grain, but yeah, mine's burgers. But yeah,
Like you make burgers?
no, I wouldn't make a burger.
Yeah.
But like, I like burgers. Like if I'm eating something, it would be a burger.
In the middle of the night, though, do you ever wake up and eat anything?
No,
No, nothing.
I like drug myself before I go to sleep. And
Yeah,
don't
right.
wake up until 4:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hang on a second,
Yeah.
I'll jump in. I don't have anywhere near as strict as diet as you.
Yeah.
I actually eat food that I like all the time.
Well, there you go. Well,
That's
the funny,
probably why.
yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I fasted from Friday night to Sunday,
Yeah.
like in there. I fasted the whole day. I was like, a bit spun out. Like, I don't know why. For some reason, it just wasn't great for me that time. I was so tired on Sunday.
Was that just 24 hours?
Yeah, yeah. And then, I don't know. Usually I could, but I'm not a faster. I like eating. But
Did Mets tell you to do that? Or did you just...
no, I felt like I wanted to, and then Mick, the pod guy, did, and then Met said maybe you should fast half that. But
Yeah.
Mick, the pod guy, the pod man, he's like, do this fast. I think it's good. I think fasting's excellent.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know, my body just wasn't flowing properly, and then that carried through to Sunday, and then like I felt like I need sugar or something. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, so then I get up, wrestling with myself, going, I don't need it. Blah, blah, blah. And then last night I just like poured all this Nutri-Grain in and Carmen's muesli and mixed it all together and just ate most of it. And I was like, wake up this
Why do
morning
you
going,
think that happens?
I think my body was just craving sugar.
Well, if you think about it, like your body's pretty much overridden
Yeah.
your...
Diet.
Pretty much you.
Yeah.
Like and going, no, we can't, we need... Like, so I wonder if your body actually needed it.
I think your body knows.
Yeah.
That's why it sort of tells you.
I don't
So-
know. I'm trying to understand.
So the point of this is, so in the morning, egg white, baby spinach, so 12 eggs.
12 egg whites.
2 yolks, 12 eggs, a bit of smoked salmon and baby spinach. So that's the first sort of meal. And then chicken breast, green beans, basmati rice. And then breakfast, spinach, avocado, whitefish.
Wait. I thought the eggs was breakfast.
No, well,
When's that
that's like
egg?
before I trained.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you wake up and eat 12 eggs.
Yeah, well, I
Immediately.
didn't. This is new. This has just
okay.
come. So I've had a different one. This is just now. Yesterday, this came. So, well, that's got like snack next thing.
So
Snack.
12 eggs is a snack.
Snack.
All right.
And then breakfast, spinach, avocado, a whole avocado and whitefish. And then another snack, lamb liver, chicken breast, broccoli, basmati rice. And then lunch, 2 egg yolks, another 12 eggs, whitefish, baby spinach, basmati rice. And then a snack is peanut butter and a protein powder and cashews. And then dinner, sirloin and basmati rice. And you shouldn't be hungry after that. But
Yeah,
I
you
probably
wouldn't,
put
you
a
wouldn't
couple
think
of pods
so.
in there.
How many calories is that?
3,400.
Doesn't seem. It seems like more than
Yeah,
that.
but it's really lean. Like it's really clean and lean. So I was losing too much weight on this. Like I was leaning up sort of too much. Like just trying to find the balance of it all. Anyway, so what I was saying is sometimes you're going to just fall off the thing, and in life in general.
Is that the first time you've fallen off in a while?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you fall
No, I
off for a
don't-
long
I
time.
don't eat rubbish.
Years probably.
Well, Jack's with me most days. You're with me most days. No, I don't really eat rubbish.
Not even. I know you don't believe in a cheat meal,
No.
but is it a cheat meal?
I used to.
Like,
I used to. Oh, like
The Rock
the
does.
only time. Yeah, for sure. The only time, and I'm not like one of those like boring people that just like, oh no, I can't eat that chocolate coated strawberry. Like it's if I'm with the kids, I'll eat dinner with them, you know. But like if we're out, I'll just pick the best on the menu. They don't need to know what I'm doing. But it's like I went to Max Brenner the other night with Tara, and she just follows junk food around everywhere. And she's like, actually, she's doing a lot better. But she, I just didn't eat anything. Have a mineral water or something. I just don't see the point in, and it's not because like I have to do this and that's just the way I've got to live. I just don't really see the point in rubbish food because the more I learn about it, it's like it's like putting all this stuff that your body's got to process into your body, and it's just not great for it. So I just can't, like, you go all this way forward, then you got to go back again. Look at all the people that lose weight. Like, they message us, they lose weight, and then they put more on later.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's a habit. I know it's enjoyment, but you can have one bit of bread with a bit of olive oil on it if you want, like if you're out, but you don't have to have the cake and the this and the that. You know, like I think it's like a lifestyle thing for me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Do you think it's like, I'm nowhere near training like you train, but I enjoy everything that I eat, but it's all good food. Like, I have this exact same system. Like, I have steak and rice on a Monday for dinner, then I have chicken and vegetables on a Tuesday, and then I have like beef mince, like sort of Mexican. Like, I have the same stuff all the time, but then when I get over it, I just change to something else. But,
Yeah.
And then, so
Yeah,
I'm never
that's
like,
fine.
oh, when I get to the point, it's like, oh, steak and rice today. I just change it to something else.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But do you think that's like, I would have trouble? I know you've got goals and all that sort of stuff, but I would have trouble eating that every day. Like, like I'd be like, okay, here we go again.
You got to do what suits you.
Yeah.
But I just see food as fuel. I don't see food as enjoyment really at all, apart from last night. And I didn't even enjoy it. I went to bed and went, what was the point of that? But why I was saying that is not because I ate cereal. It's like, you're going to fall off sometimes.
Yeah.
But today I'm just going to eat super lean again. It should be back on. And I think when you've got a lot of momentum in an area, that's like with drinking, or it's like with anything like that, like Jackson and his drug abuse. And then it's like, but you got to get, you know, it's okay. Like, it is okay. Like, it sounds like, oh no, don't ever do that again. But when you do, you sort of like develop a muscle. Like, I won't touch sugar stuff again for months and months and months, if at all. But ages ago, I'd be up doing that every second night.
Yeah.
You know, and then you wonder why you got a bit of fat around your belly, and it's just like a result of it. You know, so that's why I was sharing that. Like, sometimes I don't want people to think that, you know, we've got everything. Not even us, but people don't have it right. They got their own struggles. They got their own, like, things happen, and it's like the point is, what are you going to do about it? You know, like, if something hasn't worked out, what are you going to do about it? It's not, don't keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you, and it's like whether you're trying to lose weight, like, losing weight's pretty general, but when you're trying to lose weight, like, all weight is an excess in energy. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So when you're 20 kilos overweight, all you've done is put way too much petrol in your car, and it's just spilling over everywhere. That's it. It's nothing else. So you've got to bring that down, you know, but you get into this habit of, like, you know that show that used to be, you might be a bit too young, You Are What You Eat? Remember?
I don't remember the show, but
And she used to go over and visit the people and the families. Like, they're all really, like, big people. And then she'd stay with them for a week and watch and it was all takeaway, and it was all soda, what do you call it?
like soft drinks.
Soft drinks.
Yeah.
And then it was all like, you can see it. It's it's no secret. It's like, well, don't grab that Pepsi and don't eat the Chinese and there's a great thing with food as well. Anything that can sit on a shelf for a long time's not good for you. Like, because it's not meant to. You put an apple there that's off a tree that doesn't sit there for 4 months. Like, so it's like all these little things. And if you just eat stuff that's like, what do they call it, from the ground, or from the
Just like
tree, or from the ground, or
fresh
whatever.
produce.
Yeah, just stuff that's good. It's pretty basic.
What do you-
you're actually going to look all right.
What do you think about just not having it in your house? I have a rule that there's just no bad food in the house. So then when that happens, you can't eat anything because there's nothing there.
Yeah, totally. You know, the more I'm learning about food, and I'm really, like, diving into it pretty deep now, like, because I used to have an okay, but my okay was like, just eat lean.
Yeah.
But that's not good for you either. Like, diversity is great. So the gut health thing, and also I had a gene test done the other day. It really interesting. So I used to eat a lot of oats. I don't eat oats anymore. I just cut it off because I'm gluten intolerant, and I had no idea. Zero idea. But what happens is when you eat stuff that doesn't agree with you, so a gene test is you were born with your mum's and your dad's gene. I told you the other day, I think.
Yeah.
And then you get a mixture of that. And so Mick the pod man, he can't actually make up the pods properly for you. Well, he makes them properly, but he can tailor them to you without knowing this stuff. So a microbiome test is one, and then a gene test is another. And mine is like really, I had zero idea. He's like, mate, I don't know the words exactly, but he's like, you can't methylate this and you can't do this and blah, blah, blah. But he goes, you're gluten intolerant. So what that does is when you're eating all these oats and stuff, it creates inflammation. I think this is the way that works anyway. And he's like, and inflammation is one of the worst things you can have. So like, I didn't know, and Jackson out down there blowing his nose. Yeah. You're right, Jackson. But inflammation is one of the worst things. So all of this comes from diet, and then your gut health as well. I'm no expert in gut health at all. But what I'm saying is when your gut health is good, your energy is good, your focus is good, your energetic steadiness is good, your emotions are managed better, all of this sort of stuff. So it's like, it really is like what life sort of, not about, it's how it's managed.
Yeah.
So if your gut health isn't great, you're not going to feel good. Like you're not going to feel engaged in the day. You're going to get really tired. You're going to get really worn out, So Metz has a saying that's the body's one in the kitchen. Isn't it interesting? Like he's a trainer and he's like very good and he's very strict with stuff like working out and all that. But he said, unless your diet's right, forget the rest. Don't even try. Don't worry about it. And he says, if you're not going to follow what I say, don't work out with me. Like I don't want to coach you. Like he's not interested in clients.
Yeah.
He's interested in results.
Yeah.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting? He says everything, all of it depends on the kitchen. Yeah.
It is interesting.
It is.
Because most people wouldn't think that.
Yeah. It's like you getting your Ferrari eventually and putting E10 in it.
Mm.
Like, sure, it might go, but I don't think it's going to go very well. It's the same thing. Like I don't know what Ferraris take, or you put normal petrol in a diesel car, how does it go? Not very good.
Wouldn't work, probably.
Yeah, but people spend more time servicing their car. They spend more time frigging around and fussing over their seat covers and their, getting extractors on their car and lower it. And like Jackson wants to lower his car and do all this. But our bodies, we give very little thought to it, but we'll eat a packet of chips that can sit there for 7 months on the shelf, full of processed stuff, no good for you, zero nutritional value, and we'll eat a huge bag of them.
Yeah.
What's the outcome of that? And because half of it takes a lot of work too, like meal prep and, understanding it all, like, gut health, like it takes effort, but the result is you just feel so much better, and you look better.
Mm.
Yeah, you look better. You look the healthiest I've ever seen you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you do. But you changed your diet. You were getting chubby.
Yeah.
You had this little pouch thing you're carrying around, like a little bum bag on the front of you, didn't you? You'd sit in the chair and it'd be hanging over your pants. And I was like, but you weren't happy either.
Mm.
Now you're really happy and settled and pumping. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You're looking great, looking the fittest I've ever seen. You're looking at your skin's looking great. No real secret in that. Yeah. Anything you want to talk about today?
No, let's just jump into some questions.
All right, I've got a couple of things. So there's one. Someone sent me a question last night. I don't think it'll be good for this one, but we'll answer it. We've had a lot of people say, "Can we do a real estate podcast?"
Mm.
But I don't know about that.
Well, I'd be happy to chime into a real estate podcast.
Would you?
That's like my only skill.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll do one this week. Yeah. We'll do it separate. I just got to find this message. This is a good one. So there's two things I want to talk about today quickly, or I think we could talk about is, I don't have it down. So you can do something pretty amazing over the next 10 years. I think that's where my mind is right now. Consistency will beat talent. Pamela Anderson. I want to talk about her for a second. I'll tell you something funny. Have you heard how she's been discovered?
Pamela Anderson.
She was discovered.
No, I don't know that much about her.
No.
I know she's on Baywatch. I know she used to be quite good looking. That's about it.
Yeah. She used to be quite good looking.
Well, how old would she be now?
Oh, I don't know. How old is she, Jack? Can you have a look on Google?
I wonder what she's doing now.
I've got to find this one thing. What she's doing. I don't know. She's been married like 6 times. So this guy sent me a thing, a question. Sorry, wiping my nose. You need to do a podcast on the New World Order and deep state. We'd love to hear your take on what you think about the topic. You may lose a few clients.
She's 55.
55,
Yeah, right.
yeah. You may not want to share your thoughts. And what do you think about Q? And is Trumpy aligned with Q? White hat operation? Is the military taking out the deep state? Is there a new monetary system coming in? I'm hearing a lot about the quantum financial system, which apparently is the white hat operation. Would love to know what you think, but we're watching the movie play out. Very entertaining. So much going on.
What's Q?
QAnon?
Okay.
Yeah,
You might have to fill us in with
I
that.
don't know if it's for this podcast because I think a lot of people would be like, let's do a podcast on this sometime, and we might get someone in as well that can add to it, because about 3 years ago when I was writing the frequency book, and for me to write a book, it takes a long time because writing's all right, but it's like, just takes me a while. And when all of this started to change, we're in the greatest moment in history right now, ever in the history of the world, right now. So there's there's war, we were talking about last night. So there's wars going on at a lot of different levels. Right up the top, there's a spiritual war, there's a monetary war, there's a political war, and there's a war between people. Like, people have been divided massively, and that's changing slowly amongst the people. I think people are all starting to come together a little bit. But the New World Order, so you got, I think for the moment, people need to look into the World Economic Forum and just look at what they're doing. And if you know nothing about them, all you need to do is just start searching them and look into Klaus Schwab and see what his vision is. And he wants to basically control the world. Him and that organizer, anyone that's aligned with the World Economic Forum is no good.
Yeah.
So they want to control the world and they want to take your freedom away. That's what they want to do. And, it's pretty well known. Their motto is, you'll own nothing and be happy. So what they're doing now, and you can look around, it's happening right now. They're trying to make 15-minute cities, just one of the things that they're doing, trying to make 15-minute cities where you have no car. You can walk within 15 minutes around the whole thing, and you're pretty much not allowed to leave your zone. That's the way they want life to be. So I think for now, let's just leave it at that, and then start looking into the World Economic Forum, and you'll see how frightening they are. But there's nothing to be scared about, because they're operating on a whole different, lower frequency. And at the moment, I think the key to life and the key to the future is controlling your frequency so you move to a higher place.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity right now, more than ever. So you can look that way at what they're doing, but they're not going to succeed, like, long term at all. And you can look this way and see what opportunity is coming from that. So
it is true, like that. You said that to me last night, and I said I'd try not to watch because it spins my head out. Like, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Like, I really tuned into the Twitter files. Thought that was just unbelievable, the corruption that was happening between the US government and a social media company. Like, we knew that there was censorship and all that sort of thing, but like, Elon Musk has just literally produced all the evidence. But what I always wonder with that is, you never see anybody actually
get busted.
Yeah.
Well,
it all just gets swept under the table, and people forget.
It's not going to. Like, no, it's not going to. And there's been a lot happening that we can't see. So that's what I mean. There's been wars going on out. You can't see it, and there's so much going on right now. And it can get a bit like way out there, like cloning and all of this, but which is not really for this thing. But what I was saying before, when I was writing my book, when all this started to change, I knew nothing about it, zero. I didn't even know who the Premier of Australia, Premier of New South Wales was. No idea. I'm like an expert in politics now, but mainly just to understand it. So like I stopped writing the book and I spent the last 3 years just really studying all of this and connecting with people and learning. And you know me, once I want to understand something, I just go right in and commit to it. But I think there's a lot of good coming out of the change now. Like there's a lot of good stuff with the monetary system. Like yes, they're trying to bring in digital currency which can fully control you because they can just turn your money off. The banks are going to collapse, I think. How it's looking. I'm no financial expert at all, but from what I see, that's what the CDBCs are. So if you look at who's connected to the New World Order or who's connected to the WEF, they're the ones pushing hard for the central bank digital currencies. They want to do that. Did you see the World Economic Forum came in and tried to ban natural gas?
No.
Yeah, and Ron DeSantis in Florida has basically said that's ridiculous because when they had a hurricane, natural gas was the only thing they could cook on. There was no electricity. So he's like, anything to do with, like Ron DeSantis is a bit of a beast. He's like, anything to do with the World Economic Forum doesn't exist in Florida. Like he's like, it's dead on arrival. Like, great videos.
And it wasn't in play when Donald Trump was the president as well, was it?
What's that?
He was involved in the World Economic Forum?
No, he went to a couple of meetings in Davos and then he, on the last one, he basically said that he doesn't tamper with God's creation and he just wants everyone to prosper and blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of it. We're getting a bit too far into it. There's a lot of good stuff happening, like great stuff happening. But you've got to focus on that. Or you can get stuck in, like the people wearing a mask in the car on their own are still scared. So you can be scared or you can be optimistic and visualize, like see where life is going, like where is the opportunity in this? And there's so much opportunity. Like I think more wealth will be created over the next 10 years than ever in the history of the world.
I agree with that.
Not just wealth, but it's like where are you going to function on what? That's why with frequency I can see like the higher you go in frequency, the less you feel scared or the less you feel anxious around things. Like people are just operating on their own frequencies. And if you want to hang out with Klaus Schwab and go listen to his rubbish, then that'll be like, that's where you'll be vibrationally. Or you can go Ron DeSantis and all Trump and all these other people. And then I know some people just don't like Trump, so I'm sort of like careful around, don't just go follow Trump. But there's a lot of good stuff over here that's going on that I think will rise to the surface, and I think that's where we'll go eventually. But there's the biggest war ever in the history of the world going on right now. So let's talk about the next 10 years. But we will do a podcast on that. Let's get someone in who really knows their stuff. And then we can. Some people might like it, some people might not. So we'll see. So the next 10 years, George, I reckon, like I said, there's more opportunity than ever. But it's like, where are we going? Like for me, 50 to 60. Like I was listening to John DeMartini the other day because sometimes I'm like, 50 years old. Wow, that's like old people status. And then I'm like, wow, that's okay. All right. So what do I do about it? So what do I do about it? And I'm like, so now I'm like, I don't think anywhere in the past of my life, like the 40s and 30s and certainly not 20s, like I was capable of achieving what I want to achieve. Like I think the moment in time is right for me now. So again, it's like how you look at it. And John DeMartini was saying the other day that I was just watching a random video somewhere. He said he achieved more in his 50s than ever in the rest of his life, and even in the 60s. So some of his biggest achievements came then. But what a good period of time, 10 years. Like, and I know we've spoken about this before, but what are you going to do about it? Like, I look at middle-aged men. It's interesting where they all are. Some are like getting ready for retirement. Some are like hating life and just worn out like nothing else. And others are like powering on, like just achieving some of their greatest things ever. And they're interesting mindset in the 50s.
Yeah. Why 10 years?
Why 10 years? I think it's a good moment in time.
It feels like a long way
to
me.
But what I'm going to say is like, so now I'm focused on spring. So body-wise, spring this year coming. That's a marker for me. So you've got to have all these little markers along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where are you going to be? So in 10 years, and we talk about this with you a lot. So you turn 28. It feels like you've been 27 for about 10 years. It's like, happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. But for 28 to 38, what are you going to become, Jordan? You know, like, what does that look like for you? And it's not having this goal of like, in 10 years, I'll be here. It's like, how are you seeing yourself? How many properties do you have? You know, what increase in the partner of the business sort of status? And you look at what's happening around you. Everyone's going like, you're right, Jackson, how's the Colombian flu? Like blowing your nose so loudly over there.
I'm trying to do it quietly.
How come your nose is so blocked?
No, it's snotty and I've got a sore throat.
The Colombian flu.
Terrible. But think about it, George. And it's the choices you make in that. Like, whether you're 28 or 50 like me, it's the same thing. You're going to arrive somewhere in the next year, 10, today. So what does today look like? So this meal plan, I don't have to do this. Like, at all. Why do I have to do that? I'm pretty lean anyway.
Yeah.
Look reasonable. So do I really have to sit there and eat 12 eggs?
No, only because you want to.
Yeah, but why? Think about it.
Well, it's part of your goal.
Yeah, part of my goal. That's right. That's exactly right. So you've got to attach everything that you're going to do to an outcome, because you're going to arrive. And you've got to remember that. You're going to arrive somewhere. So when I'm 60, so my mind's sort of at 55 for the moment, but 10 years is a good space in time. So what about for you? Like, do you see your Ferrari coming in 10 years?
I've
Or
always
5
been
years?
chasing 30. So
30?
I feel like from 20, I've been chasing goals at 30. And they've always been the same. They've changed a little bit, but always been the same. So that's almost been like my...
Are you on track for your 30?
Yeah, I reckon I'll be ahead of it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I've had to change some of it, like because I've achieved it early. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think so. Yeah.
See, and to your credit, if we look at you, to your credit, you went off a little bit. Like early on, you're really hard to manage because you're just like a whirlwind of whatever. But now look at you. You're making great decisions every day. You've got great people around you. Like, you've paid a good price and made choices that you've said no to a lot of things, kids your age. You're not a kid, but people your age. I've watched you. So you went from, living life like Jordan to say, well, hang on a minute, I've got this great opportunity that I can create something that will set me up forever. And at 28, you're really powering. I reckon you would be the top 1% of people your age in this country. What you're achieving, what you're earning, where you're going, but that was because you're designing it.
Yeah.
And you are. And it's bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. I still wrestle with you sometimes saying, hey, Jordan, I think this is a better idea. And you're like,
You're like my Mets, though.
yeah, I am.
You're like my coach. And this year I've been very, very different. I said to you at the start of the year, drive me into the ground, keep me accountable.
Yeah.
I'll send you my stuff every day. So I made a decision too that I wanted someone to push me even harder again.
Yeah. And I like how in the real estate thing, all the young guys are coming up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to annihilate my competition. This is what I want to do. Like, I can see it all happening now. So like the next 10 years are going to be very exciting for you. So like anyone listening to this, like, what does it look like? What's that visual that you've got? Like, what house do you want? How much do you want to earn? How fit do you want to be? Like, it's pretty basic stuff. Like,
do you think that?
All the time.
Like, well, you know how they say write down your goals or whatever and then work back within a time frame. Like, they make it all very complicated, but you've always said that you have written stories about how that looks for you at a certain age. Yeah.
So I think visions helped me. It's a really good question. They help me a lot. I don't do them now because I sort of don't need to, but I think what a vision does is create a story, and I'd sit there and write it, like 1.5 pages, and I've done it for decades. And that story, I started to picture it and then feel it. It really helped me. Whereas now I don't need to as much because I feel pretty certain in myself. So now I just have one goal. Well, like, you can have a couple, but now for me, it's like fitness is huge.
Yeah.
But your frequency changes. So if you've got one goal and you're at different stages, so your ability to create is probably slightly different than mine because I've been through the mill. I've been through ups, downs, rounds, whatever, and I handle things slightly differently. And I probably have a different grasp of vibration and frequency and, law of attraction and all that. Whereas when you're younger, you're not as certain in yourself. I wasn't at all. Like I was very anxious and running. I hope it works out. You're better than me, I think. That's why I've always said you'll be more successful than me. So it's like, I think early on you're like way ahead of where I was. But it's like, for me, I'd like, don't need the vision so much anymore. Yeah, but I want to achieve like a fitness thing that's really important to me, but work still pump. But see, I rely on you guys a lot with your growth as work and pumping and...
Yeah, my goal has almost become the business,
It has.
which has allowed you to now look in another direction.
Yeah.
But sort of be with me on our goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just work a bit smarter these days
Yeah.
for where I'm at. So I just deal with the clients that I deal with and whatever else. But when you've got one goal that's driving you, so let's say it's you and the business, and you've got a goal that's really big and it's really pulling you in a direction, your frequency will change naturally. And then that'll affect all of your life. Like it'll affect everything. So it'll pull everything up with you as well. But you've only got so much time. That's one thing that I've learned. So having too many goals it's hard because you've only got, your business growth is going to take a lot of effort, focus, commitment, choice.
Yeah.
Like all of it. At this point in your life, 80% is going to be that. And it is. Look at what your life is. Whereas mine now, it's probably like more 50-50. But you've got to give energy to whatever you want to grow, you know? So that's why the vision's so not the same for me. But for you, it would be a great tool, you know? So the next 10 years, and it's like, let's say you're 45 and you're not happy with your life and, you know, you feel like you're capable of more. I think I always did. I felt like I was capable of more, but I was like just doing my thing.
Yeah.
The real question is, what are you going to do about it? Like I put a post up last night and said, I don't really have any talents, but I've got commitment, consistency and discipline. Like they're the three things I think anyone has got. And how you use those, I think will reflect on your results later. Because it's really hard. Did someone say about long-term pain or short-term gratification last week? They asked the question, was it you or something?
Can't remember it.
Yeah. Because everything good in life, I think, comes from no short-term gratification. Everything. Like anything that's fantastic is all delayed reward. Like you've got to put the effort in over a period of time and it'll come. So like, what is that? Like, what does that look like for you? You know, what does that look like for you in the next year, 2, 3? Like, you got to put your social life on hold a little bit, which is like, I know how much you love your social life, and whatever spending and whatever else. Like, because I know you want to be wealthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. There's so many. It's exactly what you just said. What did you say? Discipline.
Discipline. So commitment, consistency, and discipline. Everyone has those.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's fantastic. It's very, very true. I reckon they're the 3 hardest things to have as well.
They are.
Yeah.
And that's why they're just non-negotiable for me. Like, that's why I like the body side of it. Like, for me, it's like, who cares? Like, really? I'm never going to stand on a stage. I'm not competing against anybody. But what it does do, it shows those 3 things really well. You can't hide it.
It was the same with you when you were growing the business, though, too. You can't hide
the
business
same.
results
Exactly the same.
because they're sitting there
Yeah. Like,
in sales.
they were way better agents than me, but I just ran them over like a steam train. Like every day. That's why I get annoyed at you when you aren't consistent, because it's the consistency. And you look at anything in your life, if you don't have the results that you want, it's only one thing, the consistency.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Like, you can have all the talent.
Why do you think people aren't consistent?
They're lazy. Yeah, they're lazy. They're just not. They just don't want it enough. And when they say they're lazy, that's not a criticism, because you're either consistent or you're lazy.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, everyone has the same time. Everyone has the same like choice. Like, you know, on the way here, I was thinking about a podcast, and someone said, "Oh, you should really do a podcast on your story properly." And I don't think people realize, like, when I'm sitting here talking on a podcast, like I earned this.
Yeah.
Like I was way before it. I had nothing, like not a thing, like no money, no nothing, no car, no nothing. Like, so when I built the real estate business, it was incredibly hard. But there's not one day in my whole career that went, I'm too tired or can't be bothered. I had to. Like, I actually had to, because I couldn't buy anything. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, you had to survive.
But on top of that, I had demons like nobody else inside of me, with drug abuse and all of this sort of stuff. When I say, oh, I was a drug addict, no. Like, I was like, if you look at habits, like, I was like, no good. You know, and I had to manage all of those. I remember Tim Andrews one day said to someone, he's just like a walking time bomb, that guy. And I was like, just inside trying to manage myself.
Yeah.
You know, like growing up with no boundaries, no this, no that, then ended up, you know, doing this and in the gutter, and then pulling yourself out and trying to build a business and trying to learn how to present in real estate. Like, nobody taught me. Like, I just was like, I've got to work this thing out. It was so hard, George. But there's the one thing that I brought every day is commitment, discipline, and consistent. All the three things: the commitment, discipline. I was committed as all hell. I was consistent like nobody else, and the discipline was like unmatched. And then that ended up somewhere. So there's really no excuse for people. Like, if you say, I want this, then what are you going to do about it? That's why I talk about the next 10 years. Yeah, like when I'm 50, when I talk about 50 and then the next 10 years, 60, in my mind, I'm like, well, what have I got to do to realize my full potential at this age? Same as with you. Like, what does that look like? You know, it's not just so I go, oh, I'm going to just go and work out in a gym. No, I want to see what I can do, because I reckon the body is way more capable than we think. Like, way more. And I want to learn more about frequency, and I want to learn more about health. And imagine you got better as you got older. That's where my mind is at. That's why I'm sort of interested in it. Imagine, it's fine to say, oh yeah, you lose your collagen at 40 and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's all good. But it's like, what if your body responded to things and it got better? Like, why can't it? Why can't you look the best at 55? That's what I think now. Like, what's that going to take though? And I saw on Ivan Brezic's Instagram the other day, I saw a thing, a scale of men in their 20s, men in their 30s, men in their 40s, like 1% of whatever are fit, and then men in their 50s, 0.01% or something like that, whatever it is. I can't remember the numbers. But I think people just get to a point, and like when I will never talk about retirement. Like, retirement, like that just says to me, you've worked to a point where you feel like you don't have to anymore. Well, why did you do it in the first? I think work is really good for you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, really good for you. It's like, and I know people just want to cruise around, but what about doing something that really interests you instead of retiring? Just do something else that like really pumps you up. It's like Harry Triggerboff, he's like 80 something. He's still doing his developments, and I mean, the guy's a billionaire and blah, blah, blah. He's in Terrigal the other day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's more about where your mind is going, you know, and then you've really got no excuse with the commitment, consistency, discipline. Everyone has got that. It's like Jackson going out on the weekend. He knows how I feel about it, but he's a young man doing his thing. Is today more productive or less productive for him? Less. What a waste of a day. Is Jackson operating at 110%?
No.
No. But he's a young man. I get it. Go do your thing. That's absolutely fine. But for me now, I'm not going to waste a day ever. I'm not going to waste a day. And I'm talking about eating cereal, Jordan. Like, who really cares? Like, honestly. But for me, I'm like, is today am I 110% at optimum because I ate a bowl full of sugar last night? No,
because it changed your mindset as well.
Exactly. Why am I talking about a meal plan? Like a thing, a list of what to eat, like this. You know, like it's that. But that's how discipline and commitment and consistency. If you're really serious about it, the secrets in life are already there. There is someone in the world at 55 that's healthy, fit, amazing, and way better than they were at 30. I want to understand them. I want to understand what they did, and I want to do that. You know, there's all these secrets out there that I think if you look hard enough, that's what I'm learning, if you look hard enough, you will find them. So if you're a 42-year-old woman listening to this and you want to look your best at 48, I think there's something exciting about that. You don't have to, but like, wouldn't it be great to get to 48 and people are like, wow, you look 10 times better than when you were 40?
Yeah.
Because like you understood gut health and this and that and whatever else, you know? So it's like, that's sort of why I talk about it all the time. There are so many secrets in life out there, and that, you know, that saying about who you hang around is what you become.
Yeah.
Nothing truer.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Nothing truer. You know, I think about the guys at the Yum Yum Tree down at Kilcare, and they stand there every day and drink beer every day. I've been past 30 years.
I like when they say you're the average of your 5 closest
Yeah.
friends. The average. That's even better.
Yeah. So you're like a little leech, right? You are like those fish that swim on the sharks underneath. That's what you were like. I remember one time we went out for a birthday somewhere about 5 or 6 years ago. Might have been 6 years ago. And we went to Rhonda's. And you said to me, it was me or someone sitting next to me, I love hanging around Matt because he's got great connections and I want to know all of them. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Stuck in my head. I was like, what a weird thing to say.
I still think that now.
No, I know you do. And the other day you said to me, I'm just going to leverage off your profile. I didn't even have a big profile. Like I just have a profile, like this there, and I'm just working away at it bit by bit. But that's what you think, and that's actually what's happening. That's why you will use me as a springboard and go further. So I think that's why I value life so much, and I value like opportunity, and I value, like I've been at the other end with no opportunity, but now I'm like, there is so much, not even secrets, but there's so many people out there, like NAD. I've just started taking that. Do you know what NAD is?
No
neither
idea.
did I. But it's this thing that all these people around the world look younger, and they've started all of them. There's one thing that they put it down to is NAD. So I said to Ash, quickly order those things wherever they are. I want to know what they are. I want to take them. I'll just see what they are. I'll just try it. You know, but I'm on this search for like, that's why 10 years is a good block, because things don't happen quickly.
Yeah.
Like you go to the gym and, you know, like, and you got to earn the thing. Like you can go to the gym and for 2 weeks, nothing's going to happen, like zero. You just wasted a whole lot of time getting there and hanging out and whatever and going again. But in 3.5 months, you'll notice it, but you've got to stay steady.
Yeah.
So are you prepared to do the work? Do you have the track, like this meal prep thing? Like that's a track for me. I'm like, I'll stay like that and my body will change. You know, and can I eat Max Brenner? I can, but I'm not going to, because it'll wreck that.
Yeah.
You know, and same as, that's why I'm talking about cereal. I'm just being honest and open around, you know, like that's probably not in line with where I want to go, but it happens. You know, NAD, just started taking that. Nose is running. Thank you for that, Jack. And it's like, but can you see what I mean, George?
Yeah.
I'm so passionate to find out what's possible. And that's why the body for me at the moment, as I get older, is like a mirror. It's like a reflection. It's a reflection of my commitment, consistency and discipline. Do I talk about talent in there? Am I the most talented person around? Not at all. Zero.
You never talk about talent.
No, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm like very basic person. But I'm like incredibly fiercely protective of my time, and also the opportunity of creating something that's important to me. And the same as you, whatever is important to you. So that's why I'm really keen to see where you end up at 35 years old or 38 years old or 40 years old. Like I'm determined to make sure I help you getting there, to get there. And if you're hanging around people that are just not inspiring you.
You know what I'm really trying to change in my mind at the moment?
Yeah, go for it.
Enjoying the process.
Yeah. That's
what I'm really trying to, like every day, like good appointments, doing the numbers, like you do have to enjoy it too. That's how you get did you, back in the beginning, did you like real estate when you were building?
I hated it. Oh,
You
so
did?
that's not, I shouldn't say I hated it. It scared me because like, I just, you know, like sitting there being interviewed every day. Like we go for job interviews every day. It's not my preferred thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah.
But keep going.
But it's like a sport.
Yeah.
You get to win.
Yeah, it is. It's what I converted it to in my mind. Like
See,
wanna win.
I love it. Like I've done it for no money for a number of years, And I've done it for some money for a number of years, and I've done it for good money for some years. Like, and if it went back to none again, I would still continue doing it. I ride the waves. So I really enjoy the process. I like creating marketing. I like winning business more than anything in the whole world.
Yeah, you're a competitive person.
Yeah. So I know that, like, on a daily basis, going up to yearly goals, working to a 10-year plan, that even from just writing those goals down 5 years ago, I wrote down what I wanted to earn, and I thought, I wonder how that's going to happen. Then, like, last year I did that. I thought it was going to take me to 30, but I had no idea at the time I was earning nothing, how that was even going to come, but it did. Isn't it so amazing?
See, that's a good thing what you said.
I didn't change anything. I didn't go chasing it. I was just like, I just got to do a good job. I just got to serve. I got to work hard. And it just, there it is.
Yeah, think about all the opportunities that have come along the way. Like, you were going to leave, like we've spoke about it before, and I just happened to be in the kitchen. I was like, hey, no, come with me.
Yeah.
But money is a reflection. So money is a reflection of the value that you're adding, bringing every day. So, but it takes time to come. Like, wealth takes time to come usually. I saw market share as a reflection of my consistency in the area that I worked.
Yep.
You know, and that was my thing. I'll get market share if I keep making this call and this call and this call.
Yep.
Yeah. And now I see my body exactly the same. Like, it's like, I've got no doubt in my mind I'll achieve exactly what I want to achieve. But like today, I'm like, how am I going to spend my time? You know, like that sort of thing.
Yep.
Same as with you. That's why I'm so hard on you. I'm so hard on you because I'm like, Jordan, today is that important because in 10 years' time, it's going to actually all add up. I'm like, did you prospect today? Like, you must be so sick of me saying to you, did you prospect today? Because I think sometimes you're like, oh, he's going to ask me. I know, I can feel it on the phone call. Because the day's going along and I know you're like, yeah, I made some prospecting calls. And I'm like, no, you haven't. but see how your intention's there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm ahead of you now.
Yeah,
I
you
send
are.
it in every day.
You are.
Yeah.
And I really like the thing that you said the other day. You said, can I send my score to you every day? Like, can I send my numbers to you every day? Now, see how the habits are like becoming a part of you?
Yeah.
And that's all you got to do. So if you want to change your wealth, you want to change your weight, you want to change whatever, it's all about changing your habits, because all you're living now is what you're used to doing. But it takes a little bit to do that. And you've got to stay on that. You're not going to stay perfect, but you're going to stay on that. And eventually you'll be like, I feel a bit weird because I didn't go to the gym today, or I didn't make my prospecting calls today. I feel a bit weird. When you're at that point, then your habits have changed. And everyone's different. It could take a month or it could take 3 months, you know, but you've got to just continually work down that path. But also, like, you've got to know what you're shooting for, and then you've got to put the dots around it. Like, this meal plan is nothing more where I want to end up in a year or 2 or 3. So at the moment, I've got my eyes set on September this year coming. That's my first marker, and I'm going to see what I can do. And in my mind, I can see what that's like. But we're heading into winter, and I say often, you know, summer bodies are made in winter. It's funny how winter comes, and then people like eat more, they party more, they this and that, and then the spring comes, they go, oh, quickly, I've got to go to the gym. Doesn't it make sense to just stay steady right the way through? And then spring comes and you look fantastic, and they're like, wow, okay, how did you do that? Well, let me tell you about it. It started October last year, and every day I made a decision just to stick on this path. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Pamela Anderson quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know Pamela Anderson, one of the most famous people in the world? You know how she got discovered? A friend rang her to go to a baseball game. Pretty sure it was a baseball game. So she was at home. A friend rang her and said, do you want to come to a baseball game? And she said, yeah, that'd be fine. Let's do it. And so she went there. She had this is probably a bit more to the story, but she had like a beer shirt on, like not Budweiser, but something that was similar. And I think that beer sponsored the game, something like this.
Right.
Yep. And then the camera went on her around the whole thing, and then went on her on the screen, and then she had that thing on, the jersey, and then that was used as a, like, whatever it was called. Let's call it Budweiser girl or something, like a picture of it. And then someone saw it, a scout, and approached her, and she became one of the most famous people in the world. All because, and think about this, right? and this is how important frequency is. Imagine she was at home in bed with a hangover. She would have said no. Or she was out of the zone and the timing wasn't there, because we wouldn't have had mobiles back then. The timing wasn't there to get the call, and the friend missed the call. She missed it, or whatever. Or she was in a bad mood and didn't want to go and didn't want to be around people. She would have missed, and maybe another one would have come along the way somewhere, but she would have missed the opportunity that literally made her, because that whole thing led to her being noticed by Playboy and all this other stuff. That one moment led to her whole life changing and her becoming iconic in the entire world. And she was just a normal girl in a country town in America out of millions and millions and millions of people. How important is moments in time and frequency?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah.
Like, if you put it all together, that's why sometimes we talk about all these goals out there, but really it's about being your best today, like your absolute best. Not coming to work. That's why I talk about drinking it so much, because I reckon drinking wrecks your life. Same as drugs, same as all of that. You can take them. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but it changes your frequency of the moment in time next. Doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Imagine that happened. Like, imagine that she was out of alignment and didn't get the call, or didn't. You can be out of alignment by 0.1 of a second and not be home when the call comes.
She could have gone to get a hot dog.
Could have gone to get a hot dog. She could have had a car crash. She could have fallen out, anything. Another call could have come in, and it would have been because when I was young, you only had the engaged signal. It wasn't call waiting. Would have been the landline. What's the chances of her being home at the land? You couldn't ring people if they were out and about. You had to wait till they get home. Imagine that one moment in time was different. One, we wouldn't have had Pamela Anderson to look at all those years. Yeah. But two, she could have just been getting on with life and a waitress in a country town, and that was her life, and missed that moment, and all that chain of events. And then wearing that shirt happened to be the main sponsor of the game, and then they did it and put it up on the screen, and then somebody saw that and then took a picture, and then that went around, and she got known as like the Budweiser girl. Yeah. And then one thing after that, what an amazing thing. So that's why I'm so passionate about the frequency that you're operating on. It's actually the secret to everything. You can set all the goals that you want. You want to fast track them, or you want to accelerate life, or you want to just see what's possible. You have to control your frequency, but learn about it and then own it and then be a part of it and then make it a part of every day. Every day. At your age, Jordan, 28 years old, Jackson, 23 years old, to understand frequency, life-changing. You have no idea what you're capable of now. If you just hover in that space where you're feeling great and someone asks you to go, yep, I'll just go. Imagine she said no. Like, imagine. Like, she's the most famous girl in the world, probably, up there with Cindy Crawford and all these people, all because of one phone call. And she was in alignment for that. And when you're in alignment, great things happen, nothing short of that. So there shouldn't be a day when you wake up and don't put yourself in alignment first and then see what happens. You will be amazed.